If you ever thought that only the poor are hungry, only the poor suffer, then perhaps you were mistaken. Ask thousands of middle-class Americans in 2025. The middle class, once the pillar that kept America stable, is now fracturing, not from laziness, not from apathy, but from the crushing weight of rising costs. While food prices soar, rent explodes, and incomes stagnate or vanish, the ground beneath working families is shaking. Today, we're diving into 5 U.S. cities where the middle class is collapsing due to inflation, job losses, and the unspoken fears about the future. These are real stories backed by public data and local voices. This is not an attack. It's an exploration. It's an alarm. Number 1. Phoenix, Arizona. Have you ever driven for 30 minutes under a blazing sun, sweat dripping, just to buy a carton of eggs, only to arrive and find empty shelves? Welcome to Phoenix, where store aisles look more like a desert than a supermarket. A trip for detergent, a bag of rice, or a single potato now resembles a prehistoric hunt. Once hailed for affordable housing and a dry climate, Phoenix is now one of the epicenters of middle-class decay. Everything is going up. Eggs, gas, rent. But we get a 1% raise if that. In just 3 years, rental prices have jumped over 40%. A 2-bedroom apartment now costs nearly $1,800/month. The average home price? Over $430,000, a dream out of reach for salaried families. Donna Dennis and her husband earn over $100,000 a year, yet still struggle. They couldn't find a 2-bedroom apartment in the neighborhoods they wanted. I was seeing listings for $4,500 in Bed-Stuy. And this isn't even Midtown, this is Brooklyn. Another woman, 51, working as an accountant in Tempe explained, "My salary hasn't changed since 2019, but my rent has doubled. I use credit cards just to buy groceries. I don't travel, don't splurge, but I still feel like I'm drowning." People here are playing what they call the payment rotation game: electricity bill today, internet tomorrow, groceries next week. And it's not just bills. At Fry's and Walmart, shoppers face unusually empty shelves. Milk, eggs, noodles, and even toilet paper are disappearing. Supply chain excuses no longer matter. All people know is, there's nothing to buy today, and if something arrives tomorrow, they might not afford it. It's panic buying, but quieter this time, and more permanent. From frozen foods to cold medicine, essentials vanish by Saturday night. Stockpiling isn't paranoia, it's experience. People don't trust tomorrow. The wealth gap is now visible through the windshield. Luxury supermarkets with Tesla chargers on one side and mobile home parks packed with families on the other. This isn't about losing everything overnight. It's about losing piece by piece, losing control, losing hope, and losing the belief that hard work is enough. Phoenix was once a city of fresh starts. Now it's a warning sign. And if you think Phoenix is the only city suffering, brace yourself. Number 2, Chicago, Illinois. Chicago was once known for its cold winds, but now it's the bills making residents shiver. Electricity, gas, groceries, all climbing like a mountain. And salaries? Still stuck in the valley. Once the pride of industrial America, Chicago is seeing its middle class quietly unravel. In the past 2 years, major chains like Walmart, Aldi, and Save-A-Lot have closed stores across the south and west sides. Now, many people travel 5 to 10 miles just to find fresh vegetables or affordable food. For those without cars, that means skipping meals, enduring poor nutrition, and facing crippling expenses. I'm not partying. I just want to buy milk 10 minutes from home, but that store is gone. Now it's $50 extra in gas every month. If you think cold winters are brutal, try watching people jostle in dollar stores, fighting for instant noodles and cartons of milk like it's an episode of Survivor, Supermarket Edition. Is the middle class still okay? Just look at us. In Chicago, dinner gets split in half, medication divided by 3, and worries multiplied by 4. Empty shelves are the norm, not because items aren't coming, but because people rush to buy before prices go up next week. A can of tomatoes now costs the same as a fancy coffee last year. Do I buy gas or ketchup? Fixed costs are rising: gas, electricity, water, home insurance, while incomes stay still. A typical middle-class family with 2 kids spends over $3,000/month just to survive. Credit card debt, medical bills, school fees. The math doesn't add up anymore. Anxiety and unease now hover over neighborhoods once full of hope. People who never saw themselves as poor are applying for food stamps. Stockpiling isn't irrational, it's survival training. If we don't buy today, we might not eat tomorrow. Chicago, once the beating heart of the working class, is now a place where even 2 or 3 jobs might not be enough. There's a growing gap between those with investments, assets, and connections, and those with nothing but a pile of unpaid bills. Is this still the middle-class dream? If you still go to work, still have a house, but still can't afford food, can't afford safety, then something very big is breaking down. Number 3, Denver, Colorado. At first glance, Denver still looks like a postcard, snowy peaks, sunshine, and coffee shops buzzing with remote workers. But take a closer look. Behind that Instagram gloss lies a devastating truth. The middle class is barely hanging on. Once a haven for young professionals and outdoorsy families, Denver has now priced out the very people who built its culture. I make 6 figures, and I still can't buy a house here. My savings? Gone. The cost of living has skyrocketed. In 2020, a modest home was about $400,000. Today, it's nearing $700,000. Childcare costs more than rent. Groceries? Insane. Even basic items like bread and milk have jumped in price by 30 to 40% in just 2 years. Daniel, a middle school teacher, says, "My wife and I both work. We don't eat out. We don't take vacations. But every month, we go negative in our budget. And when shelves are stocked, it doesn't mean people can afford what's on them. The price of chicken doubled. Prescription refills are skipped. People buy baby formula in bulk, not to hoard, but because they can't afford not to when sales hit. In stores like Safeway and King Soopers, there's a new routine. Snap a photo of the price, text it to the family group chat, and ask, do we really need it? It's not about budgeting anymore. It's about negotiating survival. The city buses are fuller. Not because people are eco-conscious, but because car insurance and gas are luxuries now. Denver used to be where dreams met mountains. Now it's where dreams are put on pause indefinitely. Number 4, San Diego, California. Once a sun-soaked paradise, San Diego now shines light on a dark crisis. The vanishing middle class. The scenery hasn't changed, but the reality has. The city is full of people working full-time jobs who still live in cars, RVs, or on someone's couch. I'm a nurse with a master's degree. I live in a van with blackout curtains so no one knows. Rent for a basic 1-bedroom apartment has soared to over $2,600/month. Gas tops $6/gallon. A gallon of milk? $7 in some areas. And the grocery stores? They're stocked, but eerily quiet. Because people can no longer afford to fill a cart. Gina, a retail worker with 2 kids, says, "We go to the store with a calculator. We pick the cheapest cereal and the smallest meat pack. Then we pray nothing breaks at home." Even high-income earners are downgrading lifestyles, moving to Tijuana, or piling into shared homes like college freshmen. The American dream, once alive and well by the beach, now looks like a parking lot of Amazon vans and homeless encampments hidden under palm trees. Middle class? Feels like that's a fantasy now. San Diego may still look like a vacation spot, but for the people living here, it's more like a financial prison. Number 5, Atlanta, Georgia. In Atlanta, the collapse of the middle class doesn't scream, it whispers. It whispers from the cracked sidewalks, the shuttered grocery stores in the West End, and the fridge that hums quietly with only water and condiments inside. Atlanta was once praised for its affordability and black middle-class growth. But in 2025, it's one of the hardest places to keep your head above water. I work 3 jobs, and I'm still asking my mom to help with the light bill. Inflation has pushed everything up, except wages. Rent is up 60% since 2021. Starter homes cost $400,000 or more. Childcare? Sky high. Public transportation? Unreliable. Food prices? Gut-punching. And store shelves? Often bare. Not because of global delays, but because local stores are cutting inventory to survive. I went to 4 stores for baby wipes. Found them in one, but it was double the price. People skip meals. They delay health visits. Some even sell blood plasma just to pay for gas. The emotional toll is massive. Panic attacks, depression, hopelessness. Yet the skyline keeps growing, luxury condos, sky-high rents, new developments, but for who? Not the teachers, not the nurses, not the warehouse workers. Atlanta isn't just losing its middle class, it's losing its balance, its diversity, its promise. They tell us to hustle, but what do you do when you've got nothing left to hustle with?